I never sent this because I couldn't figure out who it was actually for. Maybe you, maybe me, maybe just the version of that. Christmas night I keep replaying differently every few weeks, trying to decide whether I imagined how alone I felt sitting in a room full of relatives. What bothers me now isn't even the joke. It's how quickly everyone laughed. I need you to understand something first. The envelope was never meant to impress anybody. When you called me in November saying your landlord had posted another warning notice, you sounded exhausted in a way I hadn't heard before. Not dramatic, not asking for pity, just tired enough to stop pretending things were manageable. You kept saying things like, "I'll figure it out." But your voice already sounded like somebody standing in rising water pretending their shoes were still dry. So I handled it quietly. 3 months of rent directly arranged with the landlord. Enough time for you to breathe without the family turning your problems into holiday gossip. I thought privacy would preserve your dignity. What I misunderstood was that by Christmas, dignity itself had become dangerous to you. The house that night felt like every family gathering we've had for years. Too loud, too bright, everyone interrupting each other before real conversations could fully form. Mom kept insisting we recreate old traditions nobody even seemed to enjoy anymore. Dad drank enough wine to become overly sentimental, without actually saying anything honest. And you were performing version after version of yourself all evening. Funny brother, relaxed brother, nothing bothers me brother. I think I noticed because I do the same thing differently. When you opened the envelope, I saw the exact second you understood what it was. Your shoulders stiffened first. Then you looked around the room before reading the papers fully, which told me immediately you were embarrassed, not ungrateful. Embarrassed, and then came the joke. Tries to compensate for the fact that he's not actually needed by this family. Everyone laughed instantly. Not because it was especially funny. Because families have reflexes, ours especially. Whenever something sincere enters the room, somebody converts it into humor before vulnerability can settle too deeply. Usually I participate too. That night I didn't. I remember hearing Uncle Rob laugh loudest, Mom covering her mouth with her wine glass, somebody saying classic. And I remember waiting just briefly for someone to look at me and realize, maybe the joke had landed somewhere real. Nobody did except you too late. I took the envelope back because suddenly, leaving it in your hands felt humiliating for both of us. Useful to know, I said, even now. I don't think I sounded angry, just clear. That's the part people reacted to afterward. Not the words themselves, but the fact that I stopped cushioning everyone else's discomfort. You followed me into the kitchen a few minutes later trying to act casual. "Come on," you said quietly. You know I was joking. Before I answered, your phone rang. You stepped outside to take it. I didn't hear the conversation, but I saw your face through the glass door afterward. Not panic exactly, recognition. The landlord had called because the payment authorization still needed my final confirmation before processing the next business morning. Once I withdrew it, the arrangement expired automatically. Nothing dramatic happened. Nobody got thrown out. No police, no screaming, just consequence. You came back inside looking smaller somehow. Mom noticed first. What happened? You didn't answer immediately, which frightened everyone more than if you had. Then suddenly the whole room shifted direction at once. He didn't mean it. You know how your brother jokes. Don't make this into something bigger. That part stays with me more than the original comment. How fast everyone rushed to repair the situation, once they realized the envelope represented something real, as though sincerity only became valuable after it disappeared. Later that night, after most people left, you sat beside me in the den without looking directly at me. Were you really going to cover all 3 months? I said yes. You nodded for a long time after that. Then you said something I still think about sometimes. I didn't think anybody would do that without wanting something back. And honestly, that may have hurt worse than the joke because it explained so much about both of us. I eventually helped you anyway. Not the same arrangement, not as directly, but enough. People would probably call that forgiveness. I'm not sure it was. I think I just finally understood that we grew up in a family where vulnerability always arrived wearing armor first. You used humor. I used usefulness. Neither of us knew how to accept care without distrusting it. The strange thing is, I don't think anyone else from that Christmas remembers the exact words anymore. But I remember the silence right after the laughter stopped. That silence changed something permanently.